right, welcome to today's episode of Tomorrow's Leader, where we dive deep on all things leader related to leading yourself and leading others. I'm John Laurito, your host today and tomorrow and every day thereafter. I am not going to lie, I'm feeling a little under the weather. I just did my second COVID vaccination, which I'm excited about, but it has taken its toll on my body and my voice, as you can hear. So in any event, bear with me. But I want to talk today about a situation that I think a lot of people find themselves in. And I'll start it with a story. I was at the gym and I saw this person that was working out and really going through like these exercises with the worst form possible. I mean, just absolutely bad form. And, just every machine, it was one of these things where you look and say, what exercise are they doing? I don't even understand it. What muscle group are they trying to work? And I guarantee if I'd asked this person, which I didn't, I probably should have, but I guarantee if I'd asked this person, hey, listen, what is your goal here? What are you trying to actually do? The answer probably would have been, I want to get in better shape. And my goal is to build muscle and I want to feel better and this and that. Most of the people that are in the gym, that's their common goal. But this person's goal wasn't to just sling weight around and the highest amount of weight, I don't think, because even if that was their goal, they really weren't doing it technically properly. So it's not like you could claim that, yeah, I did these big weights on these machines and free weights and all this kind of stuff, because technically you weren't even doing the exercise right. Now, even if that was somebody's goal, again, they're not doing the right process to be able to claim that they accomplished that goal. But my point is the fact that this person was causing themselves unnecessary risk, because when you're working out and you use really, really bad form, 9 times out of 10, at some point, you are going to get hurt. No doubt about it. You're going to pull a muscle. You're going to do something that's going to ultimately keep you out of working out for a period of time. That may be a long-term type of injury. But secondly is they were really probably only getting 10 to 20% of the effectiveness from this workout. They probably were only, in other words, to put this to numbers, it would probably take them 5 to maybe 10 workouts in that fashion to equal equal one workout with really good form. And I truly mean that. So you're just not hitting the muscle properly. You're just not developing, you're not doing anything other than hurting your joints and everything like that, the way this person, and you go to a gym, for those of you who go to a gym, you see people using bad form all the time. So the reason why I bring this up is oftentimes we find people, and sometimes ourselves, where we're kind of chasing the wrong goal. So in other words, in this case, I've seen people do this and it is an ego thing. They're just trying to lift the most amount of weight possible. But is that really your goal? Or is your goal that you want to build muscle and you want to feel better, you want to look better? If that's the case, then you're really aiming for the wrong goal, because your exercise style is aiming toward a whole different goal. And that's just to claim that you lifted the most amount of weight possible. I don't know if that's making sense. I hope it is. But I just see this, and I'll give you a couple of other examples. I see this in business a lot of times. When I was an advisor, a new advisor, financial advisor, I remember my goal every single week was to set 10 appointments, no matter what. Come hell or high water, I was going to set 10 appointments. It didn't matter if I was there till Saturday at 2 in the afternoon, dialing it Friday night at 8 o'clock at night. I was one way or the other going to set my 10 appointments. I was so maniacally focused on that I forgot that the real goal that I had was I needed to bring on one client a week, because unless I brought on a client a week, I was going to be out of business. Now, the cause ultimately to the effect is, okay, I've got to do enough activity, front-end activity, and if I trust that, those numbers over the long term, then that will equal the result. But my goal was I was so maniacally focused on this. I had my blinders on, totally focused on setting my 8 appointments, that I would unjustly give myself too much credit when I set the 10 appointments, because ultimately what happened, it turned into just setting any kind of appointment. I didn't care what it was. I didn't care even appointments that I knew would not hold. I'd hang up that phone and I'd say there is 0% that person is going to hold that meeting. 0% chance. I knew it. So it was a total waste, and it was a fictitious appointment, but it counted technically because I set an appointment. So it was closer to me setting my 10 appointments a week. But in reality, what does it matter? If I set 10 crappy appointments a week and all 10 of them cancel, or 2 of them show up and they're not qualified people, what does it matter? I could set 10 every single week. I can't go to the food store and buy my food and groceries and go to the cashier and say, hey, I don't have any money, but I set 10 appointments last week. They're going to look at me like, what are you talking about? We don't work that way. But bottom line is, I see many people that are focused on the wrong goal. It's okay to be activity driven, but ultimately results are what matter. And if you're not getting the results, you have to look at the activity. Am I doing the right type of activity? Am I doing the right amount of the activity? So as an example, if I'm trying to lose weight, I use this example all the time. Okay, if I'm not losing weight, which is a result, I've got to look at my behaviors. Am I eating too much? Am I eating the wrong foods? Am I drinking too much? Am I getting enough sleep? Am I drinking enough water? Am I exercising enough? All those things are the activities. But if I am just using an activity that's really not, so this person that's lifting these weights like crazy could be saying, hey, I'm going to the gym every day. But are they really giving themselves a good workout? No. A year will go by and people will be like, you don't look any different. And they haven't. I've seen them. And the reason is they're just not doing it right. They're not focused on the right goal, quality workout. There's a period of time where, and I'm going to cover this in probably another episode about a different concept, but I remember my son one time made a comment to me when we were getting frozen yogurt, and he said, Dad, you know what? Your belly's getting big. I'm like, what? This was a few years ago, and I'm like, are you really? I'm looking fat? And he's like, well, your belly's bigger than I've seen it in a long, long time. I'm like, and he, probably was not quite as nice. He was younger and more just direct. So, as kids always are. And I'm like, wow, okay, I'm not going to be that guy. So I proceeded at that point. I made a decision in my mind that I was going to see how many days in a row I could work out. How many consecutive days in a row I could go to the gym. And it started that day. It was December 26th. It was before the end of the year. I think it was the day after Christmas. And it started, and I did it for 7 days in a row. 7 days turned into 30 days in a row. 30 days in a row of going to the gym. And I'm like, wow, you know what? If I did it for 30 days in a row, I can't break my streak now. I mean, I've got to keep this going. And let me see how long I can do this. Well, 30 days turned into 2 months. And I kept going. 2 months turned into 3 months. 3 months, every single day of going to the gym, not skipping a day. I had to now qualify this by it had to be at least 30 minutes. Now, and I also said it didn't have to be the gym. It could be a home workout, but I had to sweat. It had to be at least 30 minutes of intense workout. But I had to exercise. That was technically it. Exercise every day in a row. 3 months, I'm like, okay, well, I can't stop now. This is kind of like this addictive thing. Let me do 4 months. I did 4. Then it was 5. Then it was 6. Then it was 7. And I kept going. I did a year and 7 months of going to the gym or exercising every single day. It did not matter where I was, what time. And there were some times, I remember going to Costa Rica with the kids. We had to leave at like crazy early. I worked out at 3 a.m. I remember working out in a blackout. There were no lights. I remember working out at a conference. I went at 11 at night after the conference. Once I did those things, I realized, you know what, nothing's going to stop me, because once I did those were the hardest times. And if I did it then, nothing's going to stop me. But here's what I found, the good and the bad. The good is when you put yourself to task and say, all right, I'm going to do something. I'm going to do it every single day For those of you who have that personality like I do, where it's usually all or nothing, I kept going and it worked. But here's what I found. The quality of my workouts dropped significantly. They dropped significantly. And ultimately, I became more focused on checking the box, getting my 30 minutes done, regardless of whether it was a good workout or not. I just wanted to check a box. And it became laborious, monotonous, painful, and something that I loved became something I hated. I dreaded. So I stopped because it wasn't the goal anymore. I'd done what I wanted to do. I wanted to get back to working out with a purpose, not just to check a box and create a streak, but to work out for the right reasons. And that was to feel good, to enjoy the feeling of working out and building your muscle and getting in better shape and looking better, not to set a world record on how many days in a row I can go. So in any event, some great learnings from that. But the question I would leave you today, are you focused on the right goals? Think about it. Is what you're doing lined up with what you're trying to accomplish? If not, change direction, change your goal, refocus, reestablish your goal. But ask yourself, okay, am I doing the things that are getting me closer to where I want to be? Personally, business-wise, financially, health-wise, spiritually, whatever. Am I doing the things that are helping me make progress and get closer to my ideal self and closer to where I want to be? If I am, great. It's all about progress, not perfection, but progress. If I am not, despite the activity I'm putting in, it's just not working. Maybe I'm convincing myself I'm putting in more activity than I am. Bottom line, if it's not working, it's not working. Time to reassess. Am I focused on the right things? Am I doing the right activity, the right amount, the right type, all that kind of stuff? Okay. Hope this helped today. It's been a pleasure. As always, like, subscribe, comment, share. Go down below, give a 5-star review, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks.